No, well, no. Now it's broadcasting.
Now it's
Okay,
broadcasting.
so go ahead and
Sweet.
let's just finish our conversation. It's fine.
Well, and then I was about $1 million in the hole,
Yeah.
and had the government after me,
Mhm.
and long story short, I survived. I survived
Well,
the
I
whole
mean,
ordeal.
it's just you can't expect things to go your way when you do stuff like that.
Well,
It's just,
I mean, there's a first time for everything, and
I
you
guess,
know, had to
I guess.
happen. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good actually. Government's off my back now.
Oh, congratulations. Well,
I
I got the idea from you in the first place.
Yeah, I know. I mean, for people who are watching who don't know this trick, but what you do is you fake your death, you change your
Yes.
name,
Yes.
and you get married to uh, what was it? I can't remember her name now because she's dead.
Um, Rosa Parks. Is that
Yes.
you get married to Rosa Parks? And then you get donations made in your name.
Right.
You start a charity foundation.
We are terrible at bullshitting.
Totally.
What's up,
But that's
everybody?
not what this show is about. This show is about reading things that are already written on a page.
That's true. So, hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to the second part of this super special Sound Booth Theater website launch requests only
Yeah.
thing. Man, the title's so long, I don't even put the words in the same order every time I say it.
Yeah, I don't even know what it
So
is.
yeah, it's
What am I doing here? What is this?
um, let's just pretend that we narrate audiobooks for a living.
Oh, okay. All right.
Um,
Narrate audiobooks.
right, yeah, write that down. Well, 'cause we need to keep track of.
And what does that mean? How should I act? What does
Um,
a stereotypical audiobook narrator act like?
okay, so most audiobook narrators, I would say, I mean, because I just got back from VO Atlanta. I would say
Right.
most audiobook narrators are heroin junkies, number one.
Mm.
Number two,
Got that. Heroin.
they have started a new life. But
Yes.
like, junk follows you wherever you go. So
Oh
like
yeah.
it doesn't matter like if you turn over a new leaf or whatever, it's the heroin's still gonna be in you.
Now,
Um,
does the heroin improve the readings? Is that why they do it? It's like a necessity to
yeah,
actually tell a
yeah.
10-hour long story?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how else do you think you can possibly sit in one spot and read aloud the whole time for like 10 hours straight?
Cocaine.
10 hours straight. Okay,
Cocaine
I
would
mean,
help.
maybe, but then you would fuck up more often.
That's true. That's true. You
You'd
start
be
to speak a little too fast.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So
So,
not cocaine.
not the right drug.
Okay.
Um uh let's see who's already here hanging out with us.
Oh
Ian
yeah.
Mitchell's here. Noah Barnett is here. Mr. Charles Dean is here.
Hey, Charles Dean. I know
Dave
that guy.
Wilmarth is here.
Boom boom
And
boom.
Toto is dead.
Toto is dead.
Toto's dead. He got
Toto, the
the
band.
dog. No, the dog.
Oh, the dog. Oh, okay.
Everyone else is here, but Toto's not.
Damn it, Toto. Why'd you have to go and die on me?
I don't
Oh no.
know.
Oh, that's because you're from Kansas. That's
Right.
got to be a Kansas joke. It's just
Well,
you
it's just
guys. Do you
it's
guys?
because I was naming people who were here,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's a terrible joke because there is what she was saying. I'm just I'm
Good
just
shit.
fucking dude. I'm awful. I'm awful at
No, this
why do
is
people trust me with their internets?
with their internets. This is a question that we're going to get to the bottom of tonight.
Yeah, well, what else we're gonna get to the bottom of is a bunch of requests.
Ah,
So I think I've decided what order we're gonna do this in.
okay. Lay it on me.
Uh, let's see. I think we're gonna start off with Delvers LLC obligations incurred,
Okay.
and then and this is the super. This is where Jason goes Super Saiyan, right? In book two, where he like He figures out how to what Blaise calls limit break, and he like turns ultra powerful even for only having a few orbs in his belly.
I haven't read Delvers yet. I haven't read any Blaise Corvin yet, but
Oh,
I've played Final Fantasy and Limit Break. I would be surprised if that wasn't a Final
right.
Fantasy term.
Okay, I would too. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out exactly where we want to start on this one.
Delvers LLC. Okay, I got it open. And so there's a character who's limit breaking. He's going Super Saiyan. Is his hair turning yellow?
No,
Oh, that's
no.
okay.
Yeah, because that
I'm sure the rest of the book's
I
good,
think
despite that.
I think that is dumb. I think okay, guys. I mean, seriously, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you guys because you're
He's
my
gonna be
audience.
honest. Make sure you're sitting down.
I'm sitting down.
Oh,
But
good.
yeah, you're right. They should be sitting down too. Dragon Ball Z sucks. I'm sorry. I hate that shit. It's boring. It takes like 3 episodes for something to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like even as a little kid, I was like, man, fuck this show. Where's the Pokemans? You know, like
Yes, that's a good question. That should be a T-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I got to agree with you there. I mean, I loved it as a kid. Maybe I loved the characters. They have very iconic characters, though.
Yeah, I'll give them that.
Despite the fact, I don't know.
Yeah, I hated that, and I hated like when they discovered how powerful each other were. They'd be like, "Oh, oh,
he's
his power is over 75,000. I didn't know numbers could go that high."
What was the number system? It was like something like midi-chlorians or something like some bullshit, right?
I don't know what the fuck that shit was. It didn't make any sense to me. Like, even as a little kid, I couldn't. They could not suspend my disbelief.
Yeah.
When the fight scenes were on, they were cool. I'll
totally.
That was cool. But they had to stare at each other for like 2 episodes before the fight actually started. And then every time the fight started, they would fight really intensely for like 2 minutes. And then then one of them would like look smug and sit there for a while. And then the other one would be like, "Oh my God, how could he be this powerful?" Again, like for an entire episode. And then they would fight again for another 2 minutes at the beginning of the next episode.
That's right. And then the rest would be like inner monologues. Right. And it would like cut back to them and you think something's going to happen, but it's just them being like, "I didn't know he was training since he's been away. My God.
He must have been in he must have been in a super gravity escape pod thing.
He must have died and then come back from hell and then somehow survived. And then now he's super powerful for some reason."
I hate it, guys. I hate it. It's the worst.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
You know what? It spawned a new generation of people who actually wanted things to happen in there.
Well, really what it was a social experiment. We're just going to talk about this all night. I don't know if you were expecting narrations, but it's just devolved into a rant. It was a social experiment. I'm eating a Tootsie Roll, by the way. I apologize. This is a narrating must. You must eat Tootsie Rolls. It's the best food. Some people say Granny Smith apples are good. Let me tell you about Tootsie Rolls. Dragon Ball Z was a social experiment. Good question. Yes, but it's just water.
Oh. All right. Well,
I wish I had. If I had booze. Okay, I know there is a cream soda, like hard cream soda in the fridge.
Hard cream soda?
That's the only thing that I haven't drank yet.
I guess there's an alcoholic version of everything.
Oh yeah.
I thought hard root beer was weird.
Oh, so good. Hard root beer. My dad got me on hard root beer when I was a kid.
Your face.
Oh, did I?
Fell off.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think it was your internet's.
Oh no, I tilted my monitor slightly.
What were you
That's all I
what were
did.
you saying about root beer?
My
Hard root
dad
beer?
got me on hard root beer when I was a kid because he always loved rum and root
When you
beer.
were hold on, define a kid.
Oh, I don't know, like 8 or 9. Like
That's awesome. You have the best dad ever.
I agree. I would agree with that. Yeah, he would give me sips of it. I always loved the taste. I maybe I didn't love the taste, but I knew my brother hated the taste. So like I would be like the cool brother and be like, "Oh, I love it, Dad. I think it's great." Like cool. Hard root beer though, solid.
Okay. Okay. So on that note, Delvers LLC, Obligations Incurred will be our first read. I think we're gonna I gotta look at the list again. I think we're gonna do um War Aeturnus. This will be our second
Sweet.
read. I
All
think you
right.
have that one already, right?
I do.
And then if you want to, you can peace out, or you can just hang out and make fun of us because I'm gonna
Mm,
have Annie come in for 9 o'clock for Super Sales, and she's gonna narrate Super Sales.
sounds
Um,
fantastic. I'll stick
and
around.
I'll do the main character's voice, who I've already forgotten his name, and or maybe I'll just let you do his voice if you're gonna stick around. The only character I want to make sure I do is Andrea
Andrea,
because she's just to do. Yeah, she's the wolf chick on the front of the cover.
the wolf chick on the front of
On the
Feedback
front
Loop
of the cover, no, on the cover of Super Sales.
of
Super
Super
Sales and
Sales.
Superheroes.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. That's Andrea.
Yeah.
She doesn't look like an
And
Andrea.
then no, she looks I don't know what she looks. She looks like insert Japanese name. She looks like an anime character.
Hmm.
And then
Suki.
the finale will be a scene from the feedback loop. I'm thinking the very first chapter of High Fantasy, which is book 3. And I gave you the box set. So if you're
Oh,
still
did you?
stick around for that, you could do something character for that too.
Ooh, great.
Okay. So and yeah, maybe see. I don't know. Charles Dean is watching. I'll go ahead and give him the Google Hangout link just in case he decides he wants to pop in.
Sounds good to me.
And I think maybe Dave Wilmarth is watching too. We'll give him a link.
Whoa. We got Dave Wilmarth is asking if I can do dwarves, and I have done dwarves,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely not on the level of being able to do an entire 15-hour audiobook of dwarves. Dave. Um, so many dwarves. So many dwarves in Greystone. Fantastic.
Charles Dean. I am doing yours second, Charles. Okay. Charles posted on Facebook listening to Jeff Hayes and his buddy on Sound Booth Theater talk about how they hate DBZ, don't understand Star Wars. When did we talk about Star Wars? Think
I think I
Pokemon is
mentioned this cup or something. I don't know.
okay. Think Pokemon is stupid and then go off bashing other anime stuff. Jeff, you need to be reestablishing your gamer cred. Oh man. Yeah,
We're reinventing gamer cred.
I'm alienating the entire audience right now.
Yeah, we had like
DBC.
yeah, our viewership dropped like 50% after that statement.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So for Delvers LLC obligations incurred, we're going to start. Let's see. Location 35555.
35555.
Yep.
And I can check that. Oh, perfect. Now how do I? Oh, okay. I'll just do the slider. 355 5.
5.
That's 5 digits.
3 and 355. Oh, god damn it. 3555. Sorry.
How long is this book? All right, let's see. 355. All right, I'm at 3553, and then okay. So what is the line?
Okay, the line we're starting on was Jason was dimly aware. It's right after a chapter break.
Oh, do I have the? Oh, I've got the wrong book open. That'll That'll help.
Yeah, that'll help.
All right, 1 second. Forgive my insolence. Boom, boom. Ah, found it.
Oh, I have to go dig for something real quick.
You got to dig?
It's gonna be a surprise. Sort of.
Oh, I like surprises.
But you can get started narrating. You will
Okay.
You will open with narration, and I'll just do character voices.
Sounds great. You do all the characters?
Yep.
Cool. Jason was dimly aware that whatever was happening to him was not normal. However, he was too angry to actually form any thoughts or questions about it. In the back of his mind, he dimly heard a Godsmack song stuck in his head. He thought it was appropriate. He knew he was going to do his best to kill a high priestess now. He was past lying to himself at this point. He was going to fucking destroy her. She had been threatening his wife. Unforgivable. His thoughts were heavy and dark, their edges as sharp as razor blades.
1 second. When there's italics, that's character thinking.
Oh!
So that was my line. You stole my line!
You know what? I am so sorry. I should...
How dare you, sir?
Let's just go back.
Threatening.
Okay, we'll just start. Okay.
All
right. It's okay. We can get by this.
I'm upset, Jason.
We'll be okay. She had been threatening his wife.
Unforgivable.
His thoughts were heavy and dark, their edges as sharp as razor blades. He would destroy anyone who threatened his family. He felt this truth in his bones. Jason dimly recognized the electricity arcing off his blade, but paid it no mind.
Limit break.
A corner of his mind murmured. The whispers around his spirit grew louder, and Jason listened. He was going to destroy anyone who hurt his friends, those who threatened his wife. Now, what if everything is capitalized?
That's totally narration.
That's narration.
Italics is thought.
Okay.
Caps, all caps is pissed.
He's pissed, but the narrator's pissed.
The
not
narrator
the character. The narrator's pissed.
Because
okay,
he actually, like, there's a love triangle going on between the narrator, Jason, and Jason's wife.
Interesting.
And the narrator's like really pissed because he's, incorporeal,
right,
and not really a person at all.
Oh.
So he can't even like try and
fascinating.
His wife. Yeah.
Wow, I love that kind of that fourth wall breaking almost.
Yeah.
What is that?
Blaise is a very clever writer.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this again. Here we go.
Okay.
He was going to destroy anyone who hurt his friends, those who threatened his wife.
Yes.
He flickered forward, closing with his enemy. Every cell of his body resonated with his rage and indignation. He slowed his perception of time as he moved, noting every flicker of emotion that crossed Bevan's face.
Mm.
The number of expression...
I was pronouncing that B-Ivan, right?
Bevan.
Yeah.
Okay. Bevan's face. The number of expression changes he saw in her in the span of a moment allowed the rational part of his mind to deduce that Bevan had enhanced senses too. Jason delivered a devastating cut from a modified Vom-Tag stance. He felt grim satisfaction as the blade descended. Bevan was not a woman to him anymore. She was not even a person. She was an obstacle to crush. However, somehow Bevan's hand came up with lightning speed and materialized a glowing sword, blocking Jason's blow. Her eyes widened as the two weapons met and stopped, the null time layer on Breeze's blade countering Bevan's obvious strength. The high priestess snarled and batted Jason's sword away from the side, flat to flat, and changed her motion to strike impossibly fast at his throat. Jason was dimly aware that he could hear a thrumming melody, now from Bevan, sounding something like old Earth opera music, but with more percussion. Jason's heightened awareness warned him of the glittering curved blade on a collision course for his neck. He flexed his magic and teleported away. The corner of his mind that still retained rational thought knew to move the fight away from his friends and his wife. He snarled, teleporting above the shore of the nearby lake. Bevan made a beeline for him, flying at a breakneck speed, the air around her growing hazy from the power rolling off her body. Jason dispassionately waited for her to come, noting that he was effortlessly flying in place, manipulating time and space. It was as natural as breathing for him now. He lifted a hand, his fingers pointed forward, and unleashed hell. Wicked needles of null time shot out at Biavan, who avoided them at the last second, flinging her body to the side. The Shadow Man darted forward, his silver eyes wild as he followed up with a few swift, brutal cuts, chasing Biavan toward the ground. The woman snarled, a corona of energy erupting from her body to incinerate Jason, but he'd already teleported away. Jason felt deep, suffocating rage as he darted in, aiming a thrust at Biavan's back from a floating stance. Somehow, Biavan's... What's that?
That's right. I don't know. I think that's right. I'm not sure.
Och.
I think it's German, so...
Och. Sounds German. Och. No, that's Scottish, never mind. Somehow, Biavan spun in time to block the attack with her scintillating blade. The small corner of Jason's mind that could still think clearly noted the sword looked like a shotel from back on Earth. Shotel?
Where's it? I lost you. Hold on. Where'd it go?
Shotel.
Ox.
Sounds cool. Could be shovel. With a T.
Shotel.
Shotel.
Okay, it's like a... It looks almost like a extra curved machete, almost like
okay.
I think it's a Middle Eastern weapon. Hold on, I
looking it up. Oh, okay. Yes. I've seen these. They've got these in. Dark Souls.
Yes, Dark Souls.
I've seen one of those in Dark Souls. There we go.
I'm gonna screen share real quick so people can see what the fuck we're talking about.
Yes. We're showing and telling the shotel. It's the shotel.
Yes.
Or shotel.
Shotel.
Rather.
Screen share. Definitely this one. Right. Are you guys seeing that? Can people see that? I don't know.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
They should be able to see it.
That's what we're talking about. Shotel.
Yeah. So whoa, that was trippy.
Yeah, I know.
So that's what this Biavan's fighting with. Okay. She got two of them? Let's see, where was I?
No, just one.
Okay. Scintillating blade, small corner, shotel. Okay. He bared his teeth and threw a null-time needles blast into Biavan's face, but she somehow generated a marigold-colored shield that stopped the attack cold. The next couple seconds, Jason's glowing eyes narrowed as he traded blows with Biavan. He had a longer reach with Breeze, but they were flying. His opponent was more skilled, and Biavan was also faster and stronger than he was. By a lot. Before Biavan managed to cleave Jason's head from his shoulders, he had teleported away. After he had some space, he slashed forward with Breeze and unleashed a dark arc of destructive energy at the distant High Priestess. This time, the demi-goddess couldn't create a shield in time, crossing her arms as the attack struck. Jason felt savage glee, hoping he'd destroyed his enemy, but Biavan uncrossed her arms and glared at him. She hadn't suffered any damage at all, other than her destroyed robe fluttering to the ground. She'd been wearing some sort of metallic singlet underneath, revealed now along with her dark, sharp-featured appearance.
I don't know what you are, or what...
Biavan began, chewing her words. Jason didn't care what she had to say. He wanted her to die. He teleported behind the Ariva woman, too close to use his sword, but smashed Breeze's null-time enhanced pommel on the back of her head. The High Priestess yowled like a startled cat, falling out of the sky. Jason didn't relent. He followed up with another slashing arc of energy. Biavan blocked the attack, waving her hand and shielding herself with yellow energy. Jason teleported next to her and slashed with Breeze, the sword's blade alive with spitting electricity. Biavan blocked with her shotel, and the dark-skinned High Priestess snarled. Her eyes were crazed as she thrust a hand at Jason, generating a brilliant golden orb of energy. The enraged orb, bonded, flexed his mind. willing a field of time to surround the attack, slowing it. He flew past the energy orb, putting his closed fist together before violently separating them towards Bievan. The attack ripped apart time and space itself. Bievan crossed her arms, defending herself again. Bass from I Stand Alone thumped in his head as he teleported away, simultaneously releasing the time dilation he'd placed on Bievan's energy orb. The projectile zipped off into the distance, generating a bone jar ring golden explosion on the horizon. Jason's heavy attack hadn't noticeably damaged Bievan, but it ripped apart a swath of trees on the ground below, made the water of the lake explode into mist, and violently dismantled a rock outcropping. He teleported again, but this time Bievan had been waiting for it. As soon as he was back in regular space, he barely had time to react to another explosive energy orb flung towards him. Jason managed to slash with Breeze, generating another arc of destructive energy that met the orb midair. Both attacks exploded together in a violent crash of destructive energy. Jason willed himself to fly away from the blast, and the wave of pressure and heat that actually reached him didn't have any real effect on his shadow body. Bievan screeched, her movements and attacks growing wilder, but no less powerful, as the battle raged in the sky. She rushed at Jason several times, and the air around her actually seemed hazy with power. The tiny analytical portion of Jason's mind that remained knew that continuing to trade blows with her was just waiting for death. She was too fast, too strong, and too skilled. Without warning, Jason teleported straight up into the air as high as he dared, holding his breath. He needed more time. The pinpricks of starlight in Jason's shadow form began spinning wildly as he fed more power to Breeze, causing the blade to throw off thick, angry arms of electricity. He only spent a couple moments charging his blade, but his instincts warned him of a coming danger, and he teleported. After his hop, a golden orb of explosive energy sped through the space he'd just been hovering in. The attack shot up into the sky, out of sight. Jason teleported back down towards the lake below and barely had time to block as Bievan came screaming in out of nowhere, slashing with her glowing, curved sword. As Breeze met the High Priestess Shodel, Jason pushed as hard as he could, engaging in a Korakor, sword against sword. Then he pushed the magic as hard as he could through his sword. Angry tree branches of lightning leapt from the blade, slamming into Bievan. The demigoddess screamed in rage and pain, momentarily falling back as her exposed skin smoked. However, as Jason watched, the dark patches where she'd been burned rapidly healed, leaving her skin flawless again. Bievan shrieked, the sound slicing through the sky, spreading tremors of hate and madness. The High Priestess redoubled her attacks, sending waves of golden energy at Jason, her attacks growing even more erratic than before. Jason bared his teeth, listening to the voices muttering around his soul. He needed more power. He needed more weapons. He ignored his growing headache and the pains shooting through his body from his neck and shoulders. His fury ran through his body like an electric current, and he embraced it. He wanted to rip his enemy apart. He just needed more power.
Okay, so that's the end of the chapter. This scene is much longer than I thought it was. Okay, so I'm gonna start taking over narration so that you don't die of asphyxiation.
Oh yeah, that's what that feels like.
See, this is kind of a Dragon Ball Z-esque scene, right? We
It
get
is.
another perspective now. Like the fight is halfway over, and someone who's watching the fight is like, oh.
That's what's happening in this chapter now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then they continue to fight. So let's see.
Dragon Ball.
Okay, so
Dragon Ball Z.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double time the narration.
Oh,
So we get to some character voices, and then you'll take over the narration.
sounds great.
All right. Beziebe watched in awe as his brother, Jason Ebe, fought a high priestess to a standstill in the sky. Such a thing, only heard of in ancient songs and history books, was actually taking place before his eyes. The hair on the back of his neck stood on end, and his tail bristled. It was common knowledge that high priestesses were the most powerful beings on Ludus. To challenge them was death, yet Jason Eby was fighting child thief Beavon paw to paw. Bezi Eby felt a deep pride as he watched his clan brother duel one of the most evil high priestesses on the planet. Jason Eby brought incredible honor to the Jaguar clan through his actions. Even if Bezi Eby died this day, despite all the hardship he'd been through, he could not have been more proud of himself and his family. And if he lived to see another day rise, he would have he would have the foundation to become a great Jaguar troubadour. Nearby, Bezi Eby heard Gonzo whistle in disbelief. He glanced over and saw Ulula with a hand over her mouth, her eyes wide as she witnessed her husband fight in a duel to the death in midair. The rest of the group was watching with rapt attention too, the only exception being Marine, who lay in a fetal position, softly sobbing as she held herself. I'm sorry, out of context. That's so fucking funny. Like all these people are watching this fight, and then randomly there's somebody like in a fetal position.
Zero context needed. It says everything about her character.
Bezi Eby hissed as he realized the last enemy, Yeongyu, had disappeared with her last two undead minions. He had no idea where she'd gone, and there was just enough fog left to hide her passage. Bezi Eby couldn't do anything about it now, but it bothered him that such a powerful enemy was unaccounted for. She'd also escaped with any answers about what had happened to Henry Eby, too. The Jaguar clan heir shook himself. He needed to move. He passed Marine and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. He understood. Henry had been her heart song. Bezi Eby chose to believe that such a great warrior would somehow find his way back to them. If not, he would merely be hunting with the ancestors before Bezi Eby saw him again. It was only a matter of time, either way. He had to find Yano Eby and check on Rar Khan. He did not know if his uncle was hunting with the ancestors yet. He had a feeling he already knew Rar Khan's fate, but he didn't want to risk a storm while hunting. Bezi Eby padded towards the battle wagon, figuring it was the best place to start looking for his kin. He feared the worst, but would not give in to his worries. He kept an eye out for any remaining undead creatures and also warily watched the sky to witness Jason's fight. He found Rar Khan in exactly the same spot where he'd saved Bezi Eby's life. The boy bit his lip with enough pressure that his fangs drew blood. There would be time for mourning later. Time for honor. There was nothing he could do for the wolf Mulholly man, but his uncle might still be of this world. He smelled the blood before he actually found Yano Eby. Bezi Eby rushed forward and checked the older Mulholly man's pulse before sighing in relief. His uncle was somehow still alive. He was terribly cut in several places, but the resourceful man had crafted tourniquets out of strips of cloth to stop the worst of the bleeding. He was unconscious and his breathing was shallow, but he was still alive. Bezi Eby gritted his teeth and blinked away a handful of tears. He didn't have time for that. He had to get to work. He wasn't big enough yet to carry his uncle, so he hissed an apology before dragging him. Marine wasn't at her best, but she was still probably Yano Eby's best hope to survive. Bezi Eby struggled, his tired muscles screaming in agony as he pulled his wounded uncle by the man's undamaged leg. When he finally reached the rest of the team, he rested on his haunches in exhaustion. It was eerie how quiet everyone was other than Marine's soft sobs and Vitalia's occasional sniff. Every gaze was fixed on the sky. Jason suddenly flashed into view, followed by Beavon, hot in pursuit. The Ariva High Priestess snarled, savagely hacking at Jason with her curved sword. Bezi Eby crossed his arms in worry. Jason seemed to be teleporting more often, and his soul song was not as loud as it had been. Oh shit, his soul song should be playing. I thought I was premature.
We got his soul song queued up.
It's sort of. This music video's got like extra bullshit at the beginning. Here it is. Yep. Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay. She began pumping her arms, launching multiple exploding orbs at Jason, catching him off guard right after he teleported again. He slipped away, but not before creating a shimmering shield at an angle to deflect an exploding orb. The energy blast rocketed into the lake where it detonated, launching water and debris high up into the air. Bezi Eby focused on maintaining his balance as the ground shook, a wave of pressure washing over him.
Jason Eby is creating entire shields of Nulltime?
He shook his head in amazement. His brothers were already becoming living legends. However, his earlier assessment that Jason was tiring had unfortunately been correct.
The combatants were close enough in the sky now for Beziebe to watch everything. He was mildly worried that they were getting too close, but no place nearby was truly safe with Beavon throwing explosive energy around. This fact was probably why nobody else was taking cover either. The Jaguar clan boy's ears pricked forward as he watched one particularly furious exchange. The strikes and parries were so fast, Beziebe doubted the Terran delvers could see each individual blow. Suddenly, Jason managed to get a solid cut on Beavon, and Beziebe grinned in triumph. However, his heart fell again when Beavon snarled, backed off, and her body healed itself. Even her silver singlet mended, looking completely whole again. It wasn't fair. Jason's intimidating dark form flickered, his glowing silver eyes narrowed. He began launching some sort of null-time attacks at Beavon, but Beziebe had tracked the truth. Jason was being worn down. About a minute later, Jason slashed his blade in the air, creating one last crescent of energy racing toward Beavon, but she crossed her arms over her body, generating a pale yellow shield. After the wave passed, she stood proud in the sky again, openly sneering. Steam rose from her skin, but she ignored it. Suddenly, Jason's shadow form wavered. His silver eyes faded away. The twinkling shadow that covered his body drifted off like smoke, and his limp body began to fall. Beziebe gasped, and Ulula shouted, "Jason, no!" Wait, okay, now that we have... Okay, well, in just a little bit, I'll take back over. The entire group could do nothing but watch helplessly as he fell, though. There was no way any of them could make it in time to try catching him. Ulula fell to her knees, landing bonelessly as she witnessed her husband's defeat. Beziebe watched grimly as Beavon grinned, the evil woman beginning to follow Jason to the ground. This was the end. She'd probably kill all of them. Beziebe was resigned to his fate. He was honored he was able to have known such amazing people on his journey through the day. He slowly twisted his palms backwards in resignation, sure of his fate. However, he was still looking upwards when Kija suddenly blurred forward and caught Jason in the sky. Beziebe gasped in surprise. He'd forgotten Kija was even with them. Okay, so he's like knocked out. I'm gonna turn off his soul song because I hate it.
Dude, that was why I joined, man. You were playing the music of my people.
Yo,
Dave Wilmarth is here, everybody.
Howdy.
hey Dave.
What are
How you
you?
doing?
What are you doing, Kija?
All right, now you take over narration.
Oh, all right. Let's see. What are you doing? Screech to Beavon.
What are you? What are you doing, Kija?
Okay, we need whoever's watching the YouTube.
Let's see.
Get off. At least needs a mute it. Charles is here too. Make fun of us.
We got lots of feedback.
Is it done?
Charles is here too.
Charles, I think that's from your
We still
laptop.
got noise coming.
Charles.
Oh, okay, he fixed it.
Aha.
You're breaking the rules. Dolos will have your head for this. I do not fear Dolos.
Replied Kija with a sneer. She floated over to Ulula, and gently sat Jason down on the ground.
Give him room. He'll be fine. Just let him rest.
She ordered the white-haired Ariva woman. Ulula nodded, spastically dashing the tears from her eyes. Then, slowly, stoically, she sat on the ground near Jason's head, resting a hand on his chest. Standing in midair, Beavon shouted,
You can't do this, Kija. You are breaking the rules. I'm going to kill every one of those pet mortals of yours, and you are powerless to stop me. So, you admit that you were trying to kill this man?
Kija asked, pointing at the unconscious Jason.
Of course I was, you Bvantisti Hrando. I'm going to finish the job, too. Him and all your other little mortals.
Spittle flew from Beavon's mouth as she screeched.
There is nothing you can do. You always follow the rules, like a good little pet. All those stories, all the other high priestesses being afraid of you. It's all a ruse. You are nothing, a deceiver. Who are you to judge me? How dare you let this puking mortal attack me? They'll all die. I'll make them suffer. I think not,
Replied Kija, unruffled. She pointed at Jason and snapped her fingers. His sleeve fluttered to the ground, revealing the mark Dolos had placed on him.
You just admitted to using lethal force on a priest of Dolos. Personally chosen by his hand, no less. Wait, what?
Beavon's expression went from cruel to confused to frightened in an instant.
All priestesses are female, and
In a blink, Kija was simply gone. Wind billowed out in every direction, kicking up dust, dirt, and rocks from where she'd been standing. Her movement was so sudden, so fast, there was no warning before Kija appeared before Beavon in the sky. Her hand effortlessly immobilized the evil high priestess by the wrist above her sword hand. Kija's expression was devoid of emotion, cold. Beziibi swallowed.
Kija the Ravager.
He remembered her ancient title. The Jaguar clan boy had secretly wondered how Kija had such a dangerous reputation after observing her lazy, silly behavior the last few months, but the name didn't seem so far-fetched after witnessing her new bearing. Beavon struggled, trying to kick Kija to get away. The taller high priestess just smiled, effortlessly blocking each attack with her free hand. When Beavon tried forming an energy blast at point-blank range, Kija casually punched the other woman in the jaw. The wet crack from Biajan's jaw snapping, followed by the snap from Kija breaking the wrist she was holding, was sickening, and somehow loud enough to reach everyone on the ground. The dark Ariva woman's glowing curved blade fell from her nerveless fingers, twisting end over end before hitting the ground near the battle wagon. Beavon gasped in pain and fear, the sound sharp enough to reach Beziibi's ears. He watched the unfolding spectacle with wide eyes. Kija's voice was cold as she said,
You were not tricked. You were careless. You didn't scan. You made assumptions. I'm truly not sorry for you. You are vermin with a power complex. If I were to claim I didn't get any satisfaction from doing my duty in this situation, I would be lying. No, wait, I didn't mean to say that!
Kija held Beavon steady, her iron grip on the other woman's broken arm preventing her from escaping. With a detached calm, Kija brought her other hand up, pointing finger extended.
No, please, you have...
Beavon's last words remained forever unfinished, as Kija's finger erupted in an eye-searing viridian energy beam. Beziibi had to look away.
Scene.
When he... Ah!
Scene.
Dun,
Okay,
dun,
that's it. We couldn't keep going because it's taking a long time. But so that's Delvers LLC Adventure Capital. What did you guys think? Have you guys read this book yet?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you guys think of this scene?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites when he goes. Well, I don't want to do any spoilers, but there's more to that whole thing.
I feel
Yeah,
like it really did capture the whole... It felt like a scene from Dragon Ball Z. It did. Like it had that reminiscent, like
So you
them
hated
standing
it?
on the ground and no. I thought
No, we're talking about the good parts, right? Where
No, you get out there, you're like, I hate Dragon Ball Z. I hate Dragon Ball Z.
No,
and then
but we did
this
talk
was a
about the
scene
good parts
from
of Dragon
BBC.
Ball Z, right? Like the
Yeah.
switching perspectives is cool, but when they just do it for too long, that's when it's not cool.
Yeah, exactly. If this had been like a
Problem
50-page
with that.
stretch,
And the
then that
stupid
might have
hair.
been.
The stupid hair, I hated that too.
Oh, hold on, Dave. I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I know this is their thing, but I've been trying to get this to have a redder color. I'm doing cranberry and vodka because I wanted to make it look like a health potion. And
Yeah,
I
you got to
cannot-
do more than 10% cranberry, dude.
Okay, is there an alcohol that I should will pair well with the vodka that's red so that I can kind of get the color without diluting it too much? Because if I have too much cranberry juice, it's just too sugary.
Man, I don't add some cherry juice or something. I don't know.
I don't know either.
He wants
red
alcohol.
dye.
I'm not gonna put dye in it like a bitch. That's a waste of space. What the fuck do I look like? This is not a Mary Poppins cooking show. Like, if my shit doesn't look right, we add more alcohol. We don't put in dye.
Yeah, if you got a jar of cherries in the kitchen somewhere, just pour the juice in there. That should redden it up a little.
Honestly, like, the more you drink, the easier it is to deal with an alcohol flavor. But it's never easy to deal with a cranberry flavor. Like, it still tastes like fucking cranberry.
Truffle's got it. Truffle says Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
That's the way. Red Tang.
The last time I went went to a party with Kool-Aid and stuff mixed in a drink, like everybody just like they dropped out way too quick. Can't do that one.
Because it doesn't taste like booze.
Where the hell is? Okay, so all right. Good thing Charles is here because War Aeturnus is next. And so the request was any scene with Miller.
The collarbone.
Milla.
You think the collarbone one?
I think the collarbone is my favorite. Well, either the collarbone or the tailor are my two favorite Miller scenes.
I was thinking the tailor, but if you want me to do the collarbone, I can.
We can flip a coin, or we can let Dave decide. He's an impartial judge.
I liked the collarbone scene and the scene that comes after when she's chasing him down and she walks up on what's left.
Oh, I think I do want to do the scene because there's the part where where Miller's punching him, and then he's like, we can have someone scream in time with my punches.
I kind of wish, I'm gonna say this, but I really kind of wish Annie had done the voices for Ling. She had like the perfect one when I was listening yesterday. I was like, oh shit, that's just what I wanted.
Well, I think that Annie's pretty much got a much better female voice than me in almost every circumstance.
I
mean,
her voice isn't as feminine. Jeff, you've nailed the feminine.
After spending most of last week with Jeff, I'm not surprised she's not here at the moment.
Yeah, she had to take a break for sure. Let's see, but she will be here in like maybe 20-30 minutes to do some super sales narrating. She'll be in my spot. Okay, let's see. I have to return something to get War Aeturnus. Let's see. Here we go. And you've already got it, right, Justin?
I've got it up. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right,
and
cool.
I don't know this book, and I'm wondering if anybody at home hasn't read this. So, Charles, why don't you give a little bit of a synopsis? What are we
Good call.
getting into here?
How do I give a synopsis? I think the best way to do it would just, in the words of Miller, just get it done. Just read the fucking book.
Okay.
I think that's the best way I could sum it up.
Those are the words of who? Arnold?
Ugh.
You need to think like a man and just do it. Don't ask so many fucking questions.
Get to the reading.
Okay.
That may or may not be the voice that plays in my head sometimes when I'm writing Miller.
Well, now it plays in the minds of listeners when they listen to Miller.
Jeff, Taj just brought up a good point in the chat. Your quickly infamous photo from this weekend with the pose from the book cover. Everybody wants to know where exactly were Annie and Lori's other hands that turned that photo.
Their other hands? I thought their hands were fully visible.
Their other hands were hiding in nature's pocket. I don't know.
I'd have to look at the picture again. They were in very appropriate places. Okay, guys.
Also, just a recommendation for people: do not mix caffeine and alcohol too much.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm drinking Irish coffee now.
No, I have a cup of tea with a little bit of a touch in it. I did not like the tea with the whiskey that much, but I had already put it in here, so now I've got to finish it. And then I've got this, which is the health potion, which is about to kill me. And because vodka goes down a lot faster. And then I've got water because I don't want to have a hangover like Jeff.
Yeah, definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so what we can do, we can give someone else Lee's part. And let's see, I will do the narration and Miller. And I wish I thought I was hoping that Lori might be able to show up, but she's missing. But I guess I'll have to do Ling as well. But maybe Justin, you can be Lee, and what's the Taylor's name?
What is the Taylor's name?
We're doing this Taylor scene, not the collarbone. That's good. That's fine. I like the Taylor scene. The I think the other one is
Wait, I mean, we can do whatever you want, man. You're here.
No, I didn't know which one we were on.
Okay.
But yeah.
There's nothing.
Okay, so I'll be Lee and the Taylor. Lee and the Taylor.
Yep.
And where are we starting? What's the position?
I'm looking for the exact right position.
Okay.
Amish beard. That's the position.
The reason no one ever found any of the captured people. Nope. Not far enough yet. I definitely want forget Red's routine. Nope. Just leave that to me.
Who is this? Who is this Taylor, Charles? What's his motivation and his what makes him tick?
Just an old asshole. Like he's an old self-centered asshole. Like, just don't worry too much. Think like, have you ever met like have you ever met a racist grandpa?
I have. Oh yeah, I worked in nursing homes.
Great. Channel that. Except for reduce it about 10 years. Like we're talking 50 to 70, not like 70 to 90. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Channel that type of mentality. Like somebody who's lived in a small town his whole life. He's just an asshole to everyone. Thinks all the foreigners need to get out.
Okay. All them foreigners better get the hell out of here.
Get off my lawn.
I'm just making stuff up. Honestly, I didn't write the character that deep. I'm just going with it.
That sounds good though. I'll channel that. Actually, all of the like semi-racist people that I met in nursing homes were actually really sweet about it. They just didn't have the language to be politically correct about like asking me things about my skin color. Like I had one person, I was walking by this one guy, really sweet old man, and he's in a wheelchair and he looks up at me, he's like, "Oh, wow. How tall are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm 6'6". And he's like, "Wow, you would have made a great slave."
Wow.
And I'm just like, oh, wait, what? Like usually it goes, usually it goes to basketball or something, or some.
Sorry, my White House is dipping on this.
Was this in the South? I hope.
I don't think he was being sweet. I think he was just taking advantage of the fact that he was an old dude and he couldn't do anything about it, and he just thought it'd be hilarious to say that.
That could be. He's like, I've always wanted to say this to somebody, but no. Afterwards, he was just like, "Oh yeah, like you're tall, you're strong. You would have been the first one picked."
You broke Charles's computer with that.
I did.
No. I just heard a racism talk and the word slave, and I just dipped the fuck out. Sorry.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh.
No, nothing. Rest of the night's gonna top
all right,
that.
Location 2290. That's where we're gonna be.
2290. Got it.
Damn.
22. All right. What's the starting line?
Okay, actually, one more page turn after that. It should be. That's only 2 paths, but it's enough.
Got it.
Okay, this is War Aeturnus by Mr. Charles Dean.
That's only 2 paths, but it's enough.
Lee circled the one chunk of blocks that they all walked in front of.
That narrows it down to at most 6 houses, so it shouldn't be a lot of work from there.
Little Ethan scampered across the street and climbed back up into the comfortable pocket he seemed to favor. The mouse gave Lee a few mental squeaks, reporting that he had managed to sneak into Shannon's home and pick up her scent from clothes still in the home.
And all these italics are Lee thinking.
Gotcha. You got enough to go on, right?
Lee asked, double-checking. Another series of squeaks gave the affirmative.
Are you going to kick me again if I give Augustus credit for your work once more?
The mouse merely nodded and crossed his arms inside the pocket. Then let's go knock on doors and bang some skulls until we flush out the wicked rat. Miller retrieved his weapon from his inventory and slammed the base of the spear into the ground for extra emphasis.
It's not that easy.
Lee admonished him.
We can't let people know what we're asking about, or they won't help us. Right now, not one of these 6 houses suspects they have anything to worry about from us. 5 of them don't, and the one that thinks we are too stupid to even figure this out. If we start alarming people, the guilty culprit won't open his door. We won't be able to search the house easily, and Shannon might never be found.
Oh, how do we search the house without telling them why? Miller asked.
Just leave that to me.
Lee said assuredly. For good measure, he added.
And don't do any talking until I tell you to.
That last part wasn't actually needed. He just thought it'd be nice to get a break from Miller's continuous rambling about how great justice was and how everyone needed to be protected and saved because it was the right thing to do. Lee might not be sensitive enough to understand someone like Ling's feelings at a moment like this, but he could at least guess that even she didn't want to constantly be reminded about Shannon's plight after personally getting kidnapped just the day before. Okay, but what will... Miller started up another string of questions, but Lee cut him off right away by holding up a hand and shaking his head.
Miller, let me handle the talking on this one, okay? I'm divinely inspired, so I won't be led astray. Trust in the herald of your faith. You've already witnessed some of the great works of Augustus.
Miller looked like he wanted to say something again, so Lee repeated himself.
Trust in me.
After that, a quiet settled on the group as they walked to the 6 houses in suspect.
Smell anything from Shannon?
Lee asked Ethan as they looked at each of the houses. Little Ethan communicated by sending a mental image of dug-up dirt and Shannon's smell near one of the doors.
All right, let's sell this then.
Lee clasped his hands in front of him, closed his eyes, and tilted his head back as if he were looking to the sky. He stood quietly for a brief moment as if he were in deep prayer, then pointed at the door Ethan had indicated in one quick, dramatic as possible action.
That one.
Lee stated emphatically.
That's the house.
Okay, real quick before we keep going, your racist story reminded me of a review that someone left for War Aeturnus where they said I sounded like Billy D. Williams.
Really?
And they thought it was racist that I was trying to sound like him.
What? You sound like this person. I have no idea whether or not you're trying to sound like them, but if you were trying to sound like them, then you're racist.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
in fairness, you did betray the Star Wars franchise today.
When did we talk about Star Wars?
You guys were talking about power levels, and you started off by saying, "Oh yeah, they get power because of their metachlorians."
Oh, that's
and
right.
I was like, "The fuck did you make DBs in Star Wars though?"
Midichlorians didn't come until the fucking prequels, which are a travesty to fucking everyone. All right, so don't pretend like we're shitting on Star Wars when almost everyone wants to forget that's even part of the canon.
No, the prequels look really good compared to like what's coming out now. So people are suddenly having nostalgia moments. Like, don't go dumping on it.
I think you're having nostalgia moments of the prequels. Okay,
And,
like yes, the shit that's coming out now seems very mediocre, but not like completely awful like the first, like the prequels.
I actually was able to make it through all the prequel movies without too much of an issue. I could not even make it through Rogue One. I just watched it and I was like, I'm done. This is over.
Jeff, admit it. You practiced a Jar Jar voice for a while, didn't you?
I never did. Ever. No, I'm sorry.
Is that racist?
And metachlorians are come on. But metachlorians are also mentioned in a lot of the extended universe books, which were pretty damn good.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I feel like all fiction is in the same universe, and if Dragon Ball Z and Star Wars had some connection, I feel like what creates that power? I feel it has something to do with midichlorians. I think it does.
Sure?
100%.
I like
yeah,
how,
should we get back to it?
Yeah, space parasites, man.
Is that what they are? I don't even know what midichlorians are. They didn't make that clear in the
They
first
should
one.
not have started to try and explain the fucking Force. It's magic. It's magic. That's what it is. Fucking stop trying to explain it. Look,
it was magic. Now it's space bacteria.
No.
Is it really?
I mean, They tried to make a science fantasy a science fiction. No need. You don't need to explain this bullshit. I'm sorry.
Nanites.
Okay.
Nanites are the explanation for everything.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Ling asked.
That's
What?
Joffrey's house. He's been a really great guy ever since his wedding. He helps out around town all the time. I can't imagine he'd ever do anything to harm someone.
How is it that we live in a town where people treat me almost getting assassinated in the night as something normal, but she can't believe that someone would try to kidnap another person?
Lee looked at her quizzically, not understanding where her certainty about the good nature of other people came from when everything he had experienced told him otherwise.
What's his job in town?
Lee asked.
He's a tailor. Why?
Well, the proof is in the pudding.
Lee simply shrugged, and without explaining what he was up to, he went up to the door and knocked.
Hello?
No.
Oh.
Wait. Lee heard a voice.
Hello?
Lee heard a voice say from within the house.
Who is it?
That's you.
Hey, that's me again.
Yeah.
Sorry to bother you, but I'm kind of in a pickle here. Could you take a look at these clothes? Do you think you could fix them?
Lee pulled out the pants he had taken off earlier when he had swapped them for the leather armor and held them out. Joffrey wasn't having any of it.
What?
He asked, sounding outraged.
I'm busy right now. Look, if you can't do it, that's totally fine, but I just need a moment of your time.
Lee pressed.
If you look at it and tell me you can't fix it, I'll go away. But I was told you're the best tailor in town, so please help me out.
Lee made sure to lay on some praise and stroke the man's ego as he pressed to get the door open with a promise of, "I'll go away if you give me a few seconds." People might not be compliant with random visitors, but they were usually pretty happy to do what was needed to get them out of their face.
I said I'm busy.
Joffrey shouted, refusing to open the door even a bit. Lee exchanged a look with Ling.
Suspicious? A tailor turning down easy business?
He could tell from Ling's expression that she was beginning to have doubts too.
Sir, I promise I'll get out of your hair if you can't fix this, but this is a family heirloom. It's a one-of-a-kind outfit that I'm very attached to. If you can fix it, I'll reward you handsomely.
He insisted, taking a final stab at getting the man to open the door.
Huh. Let me see what we're working with.
The man didn't exactly open the door, but cracked it open wide enough to poke his head through. When he did, Lee had Ethan run between the man's feet and into the house.
Oh, it's right here.
Lee handed the man his nice black slacks as Ethan spied around the place. A few seconds later, he had his answer.
She's in the basement.
Excuse me. Lee had to stop himself from recoiling when he saw the conditions she was being held in through Ethan's eyes. She was locked in a cage with a gag stuffed in her mouth, and her wrists and ankles had been tied together with a single rope which was suspended from a hook in the ceiling. It was inhumane enough to make a good and honest, sheltered city dweller like Lee want to throw up in his mouth.
Son, I have some free time tomorrow, but right now I can't really...
Without even looking at the fact there wasn't a single hole or tear in the pants, Joffrey was already trying to push Lee away. But before he could finish, the revulsion Lee felt reached his throat and had to be voiced.
Rat!
Lee yelled, pointing at the man as he put his foot in the door.
What? What the hell are you talking about?
Joffrey scoffed as he tried to slam the door, only to have it stopped by Lee's foot.
There's a big rat behind you. How can you not see it?
Lee asked.
Guys, get that rat before it causes trouble with Jeffrey's shop. No, don't come in.
Joffrey protested. Miller just ignored him as he slammed his shoulder into the door, knocking Joffrey to the ground and charging into the room. Ethan scurried across the floor and back down the stone stairs into the basement where Shannon was kept.
I'll get him! He's as good as mine!
Miller yelled as he barreled through the room after little Ethan.
Wait! Don't go down there!
Joffrey shouted, this time with much less panic as he reached into a chest near the bed and started pulling something out.
Crap. It's a weapon.
Lee gulped as he slowly pulled out his sword and tried to keep enough space between him and Joffrey so that he could react easily. He was already playing out all the variations of how the fight would go down in his head. What in Augustus's great name have you done? Miller's ear-shoutingly loud yell came from the basement. Lee didn't need to guess at what had set him off.
He found Shannon.
Joffrey! I'm going to slaughter you! Miller yelled from down the stairs. I'm going to rip your arms off, tear your tongue out, and pull every single tooth out one by one! You're a dead man! Miller's rage was over the top, and he could be heard stomping up the stairs. Joffrey, apparently not one to roll over and die, had pulled out a large one-handed axe and was preparing to rush the stairs and fight Miller when an arrow shot through the air out of nowhere and stuck into his shoulder. Lee didn't have to look back to know who the shooter was.
When did she bring out a bow? Was it on her the whole time?
Seizing the opportunity, he pushed into the building and charged at the freshly wounded man. Joffrey grabbed at the arrow and stared at Ling in shock, but he didn't even have time to react before Lee kicked him as hard as he could, sending the man toppling down onto the first few steps. Lee's momentum was almost enough to carry him forward and down the flight of stairs with him, but he was able to regain his balance by grabbing onto the door jamb and catching himself. Joffrey, however, was in a completely different situation. He immediately slammed into the edge of one of the stone stairs, face first, and then continued his trip forward down the stairs, tumbling head over heels. Halfway down, Miller stopped the fallen man with a stomp, sticking him in place. He slammed a boot down on the man's wrist next, yanked the axe free from Joffrey's grasp, and tossed it down the stairs. Once the man was disarmed, Miller lifted him up by his neck and proceeded to beat him with his free hand. Okay, so you're Joffrey, and you're going to react to every punch. Ready?
Okay.
You! Sick! Son! Goblin! Shouted. The word punctuated with the sound of Miller's grunts, his fist slamming into Joffrey's face, and Joffrey's sobs.
That was pretty good.
Mr. Donovan, please, just finish him off. Please end it quickly.
Ling pleaded. Whether it was just her nature or because of her previous ordeal, she clearly couldn't stand to watch the brutal scene. Miller didn't even hear her. He was so wound up and enraged that he continued his savage assault on Joffrey despite the young woman's pleas. After several tense seconds filled with the sickening crunch of blood and bone being hammered, Miller shoved his fist into Joffrey's battered and mostly toothless mouth. True to his word, the furbolg grabbed the man's tongue and actually ripped it out. When he was done, Miller tossed the barely breathing man, who must have had amazing cockroach-like vitality, to the bottom of the steps and pulled out his spear. Miller stalked down the steps and stabbed the point of his spear into Joffrey's shoulder joint, blood spewing out of the wounds, but the man's arm wasn't immediately severed. Making sure he knows. He stabbed down a second time and then a third, finishing off his work before kicking the body over. Your party has killed Joffrey. Your party has been awarded 21 silver, 1 sewing kit, and 54 experience. Your share of this is 10 silver, 50 copper, 1 sewing kit, and 27 experience. That he knows, Miller began, chopping at the other shoulder, that I am a man of my word. A man of righteousness and purpose must always keep his word.
And scene.
Man, I'm glad Jeff paused because I thought you were having like an epileptic fit there for a second.
I didn't know if it was
but
part of
it's
the scene
okay.
or that too. I was just like, what the hell is going on?
He was
I
playing
don't have the
part,
script
man.
in front of me, so
We should have put that. We should have had something like that in the audio. It's like 10 seconds of.
The guy was dead. Like I don't know where he was twitching afterward. That was
It was
It's gases. It's gases.
midi-chlorians.
Cheers.
My explanation for
Good
everything.
work, Justin.
Likewise. That was great. Great Arnold.
So that was War Aeturnus by Charles Dean. And by the way, guys, if you have no idea why the fuck we're doing this, it's because soundbooththeater.com is up and running.
Yeah.
the dog wants out.
So the dog, oh, you can see
Wants
her.
out.
Oh,
Oh.
love.
there needs to be like a separate tail camera.
Yeah, there should. They're
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
The
Tiny little camera to
website
track
is
it off.
The
the website is
up.
live. Do we have a link to that? Why don't we send soundbooththeater.com?
It's pretty easy. Sound booth, and yeah, there's 2 THs in a row. Soundbooththeater.com.
Oh, but is it
And,
theater RE or ER?
It's ER. It's ER.
Okay.
The American way. So
American.
No pretentious theaters here.
I mean, right now the content is just basically what we do on streams and updates on upcoming audiobooks and stuff. But eventually we're going to have even more interesting YouTube videos being posted up there. Oh, and also go check out Michael Ryan Soilo's article on audiobooks, which showed up right before the stream on Saturday. Excuse me. Oh man, this is alcohol plus narration equals.
I'm
gas.
glad that I'm not the only one drinking. Like I was worried.
Why, dude? You know, if I'm inviting you, it's because I need someone to drink with. Cheers.
I don't have much left, and honestly, I'm out of vodka after
Really?
this. I fucking like. I only had one
I didn't know
handle. Days.
I didn't know you ran out of alcohol.
Cheers.
I didn't know that was a thing. Cheers. See, we got 3 drinkers
Well,
here.
Our re-up is tomorrow because we've got Luke coming on, and I wanted to be plastered
yeah.
for that.
Definitely need to, dude. Luke is an awesome guy. I wish I had
But-
hung out with him more at DragonCon.
But Luke is not going to have a camera, so he's going to be doing Fortnite while we chat and drink and then make fun of him dying in Fortnite.
Okay.
At least he's
okay.
drinking
Which Luke are we talking about?
Luke-
here?
Shimolenko.
Is it pronounced Shimolenko?
No, you have to add extra redneck to it. It's Chimlanko.
Shimolenko.
He's Luke
Shimolenko.
Chimlanko.
Like, even though he's Canadian, we have to add.
The Canadian.
Extra redneck. Always add extra redneck to any name you don't know how to pronounce. Like if you look at a name and you sit there and you're like, you know what? That looks like I have no fucking idea how to say it. Then just go full redneck. No one will get on to you. They'll just be like, it's expected.
Yeah.
It's Luke Bubba Joe Chimolenko.
Yeah. At least he made it entertaining. His fail entertaining, right? Okay. So that was War Aeturnus. Go visit soundbooththeater.com, and I'm gonna go get Annie. So you got talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching this right now.
YouTube shills.
Hey, you got to do it. You got to say that stuff
No,
because
you don't.
people
So
forget.
my-
People forget. And people like
question
to
is-
like and subscribe.
If only there was some reminder at the end of each video to tell me how to hit a like button. Oh my God.
Hey, but it helps us out. The more people like this, the more people share this. If you're enjoying this, if you're not enjoying this, hit the dislike button and tell us why you don't like it.
Is nobody else wondering if he had Annie in a closet or something? He just went to go get her.
Could have been in the
Could he
basement.
just not go, hey Annie, come on over?
Hey, Dave, she could have been in the basement, and we just need to send Miller over there.
Yeah, get Mila over there. What have you done with her? What have you done with her?
Annie, if you're being held hostage, give us a sign. Let us know.
Well, the problem is, like, if we tell her what sign to give us, we're gonna know, and Jeff's gonna see it, and then it's gonna be over before the cops get there.
Yeah. You guys, come on. Don't be that way. Jeez. Making me embarrassed. All right, 24.
Uh-oh.
Or 25 first.
Oh.
Hi.
She's new
Hello.
to me.
I don't know who she is.
I don't know who I am.
Who
I don't
does?
even know.
Why-
Anyone who
really
hasn't
does?
drank with me, which includes you, Justin, I consider non-person at the moment. Come on, man. Pull up a beer.
Well, I can't drink because it'll blow my circuits.
Do you not drink at all?
No, I don't. I'm a robot.
Well, I was going to definitely say that's not the case. Otherwise, robots wouldn't have made those simple mistakes earlier.
That's true. That's true.
They would have been able to like look shit up. Like most robots can use Google. I don't know if they use it well, but they can.
I'm still not entirely convinced about this whole Shodel thing. I'm still not convinced that's a real thing, even though Google tells me it is.
Am I just narrating this? Is that what's happening?
You are
And other people are
narrating-
doing the voices?
You're narrating and taking all the female voices except for Andrea.
You're not convinced what is a real thing?
Oh, I thought you were referring to the Shodel thing, the Shodel like weapon that I didn't Google.
How do you
I didn't know
spell
what it was? SHOTEL.
Oh, okay.
Annie.
Because there is one that's very similar. It's a Shoto. And I was like, wait, which one is he saying?
Charles?
Annie.
Yes, Justin.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. I've been listening to your voice today. Is that right? No.
Well, you would know.
You'd think I would know.
We've been working on it.
Narrators all sound alike.
We do. We all try to sound like
They're all
Scott
like
Britt.
da 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 da.
Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Da 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 da
Oh.
da 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 da.
That's very good.
Jeff, because he sounds like Woody
See?
Williams.
I'm a narrator.
That's good.
I thought we weren't doing
That's
Jar
better
Jar.
than some writing that I've read too.
I told you guys.
Cool. Yeah, nice to meet you
Sweet.
guys. Wait, who are these other guys?
Okay, so this is Dave Wilmarth,
Hi, Dave.
who wrote the Greystone
Howdy.
Chronicles, which is the book that we were listening to that Lori narrated,
Oh, cool.
and Charles Dean, who wrote the book that I was just narrating as Sam Elliott, and with the Arnold voice.
Hi, Charles.
We just
Damn.
call him the beard.
God,
Too.
I've never had a more awkward introduction. Like, hi, Charles. Like,
Hi,
you gotta get time to hate me. Like, just
Charles.
let it hate on you.
It's like she changed her mind halfway through saying hi. Oh God, now I got to finish it.
I kind of have to, I'm wasting time here. I
Charles.
can't find the exact spot where there is.
Charles, are you the
the
bearded? Are you the
sausage.
mysterious bearded voiceover artist on Instagram?
No. That's another bearded brother.
The voiceover beard. Do you guys know the voiceover beard?
I don't
I-
know. Who is the voiceover beard?
Yes, though.
I don't know.
Oh.
He's like Wilson from that one TV show from my childhood, where you never saw
Tool
his
Time.
face, his whole face. Tool Time, yeah. Wait,
Wilson.
Tool Time is the
Oh
name of
yeah.
the show inside the show.
Yeah.
Oh hello.
Yeah.
What's going on over there, neighbor?
Right,
I don't
that's
know.
him, Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will point
What is
this
it
out.
called?
Justin has started the beard, and Jeff has started to drink. If we can just combine their powers, we can get the facial hair of Justin with the semi-alcoholic version of Jeff. We will have like a mini me in the making. Except for with Justin, it'll probably be taller than me.
I'm back.
How do you know? How do you know I'm tall? Oh, right, because of the story
You
earlier.
literally just said your height. You're like, I'm 6'6". I'm like, I'm barely 6'1". So yeah, okay, that's taller.
True.
Justin
It's
is
true.
tall and hot.
Oh well,
Oh,
thank you. Whoever said that was one of the narrators.
it was Annie.
It wasn't me.
It was Annie. Oh wow.
What?
Yeah.
Annie said it. She's a ventriloquist. Check that out.
Wow, that's.
I just said that
trippy.
too.
Wow, such talent. Just amazing.
So Annie, while,
Being able to-
while Jeff's poking around, we asked him earlier, but he wouldn't fess up. So we're asking you. That
Yeah.
photo that got taken where you guys are doing the cover pose at the conference the other day,
Yeah.
were you in fact squeezing his butt with your hidden hand?
Mhm.
Nobody's talking.
Yeah, nobody's talking. It was just a live stream. You could say it. We won't. Anyway.
You
call
know,
it
you'd be
shenanigans.
surprised. Like, if you hide something in a YouTube live stream, very few people will see it. Like, come on, you're not.
Right.
That's
right.
very true.
You're not Philip DeFranco. Like, you're not the
Actually,
news people turn
also,
into.
They don't count in court. So
Cord?
in court.
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 Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
If you guys
I
are trying to
also-
set me up for a real pickle of a sexual harassment suit,
Yeah, seriously.
you're out of
I
luck.
don't think
I would totally
You're
sue her.
SOL, as
I
they
would
say.
I would 100% sue her if she grabbed my ass. I would be so upset.
Yeah, sure.
I'd probably cry.
So welcome to Sound Booth Theater, the show where we talk about this and don't read things.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
it's
guys.
a
I'm
lie.
It's
We
all about the
falsely
drama.
Well, it's Jeff having to bring stuff up
We
or work in
actually
the
are
background.
reading a book right now. It's just it's
This is very
it's
natural.
the first draft.
Okay. Out of nowhere, people dressed in dark fatigues. Okay, guys, this
All
is
right.
this is super sales on superheroes. I'm doing my best to find the spot that people requested. So if this isn't the right spot, I'm sorry.
I don't believe I have this one, so I'll just be listening.
So oh, that's right. I didn't get that to you.
That's okay.
Do either of you guys have this?
No.
Do I have super sales and superheroes? Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got the audio.
Ah, you got the audio? Can you just
Yeah,
play
somebody
the
gave it to me
audio?
Play the audio for me, and then I'll repeat what it says. And
That
then,
sounds great to me.
yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll be the male cast, and Annie will be the female cast, except for Andrea. I'll do Andrea. 'Cause I'm jealous of that character.
Okay.
Starting with Out of Nowhere.
Okay. Out of nowhere, people dressed in dark fatigues came in with sledgehammers. Walking alongside them and protecting them were others with portable ballistic shields. Those shields were pressed to the kill slits. The men and women inside those reinforced security bunkers had been a primary point defense for keeping people out of the lobby. With the shields so close, it made a problem of fire. It made it a problem to fire, as bullets were unpredictable and could easily come back at them.
Need energy weapons.
Felix said, watching the feed.
That'd help. Though they would send in energy reflective shields instead. Should get an over-under weapon. Energy weapon with a rifle underbarrel.
Andrea's voice had taken on the professionalism of Myriad. A few minutes passed in relative peace as the people with sledgehammers did something. They were off screen and couldn't be seen. He was lucky the camera left up in the lobby had been disguised as a water sprinkler. No one had paid it any attention, and it was their only means of seeing in right now. Unbelievably, an armored car rolled into frame. Then a second. Before Felix could hit the PA and warn his people properly, both vehicles were off at full speed down the security hall, one after the other. Slapping his hand down on the button, he shouted into the microphone,
Incoming! Take cover!
Everyone on the exit point of the security hall took their positions. On each side, the wardens came to life. They were, by all accounts, what people would call a mech.
Mech.
Something out of fantasy stories and fictional worlds. They were big enough for a person to be inside and pilot, similar to an exosuit or exoframe, except that they were completely covered from head to toe. They weren't the huge versions in movies.
Yet.
Felicia had come up with the idea when Felix had asked for the ability to have an entire section locked down by a single team of heavily armed and armored people. Coming in at 8 feet tall and humanoid, they were intimidating. Built out of an alloy, the dwarven inventor refused to explain. They were incredibly tough. The power source she'd created for them, once again stolen from Lily's power, was built for the wardens specifically. Each pair of wardens worked as a team and had been built to assist its partner. The far scarier looking one was outfitted with a sword and a plasma edge of all things, and a plasma edge of all things, and a tower shield. That sword could eat through most metals and polymers with a frightening degree of ease. Thicker metals took longer, but eventually could be gotten through. The second warden's armament was a giant railgun. The power needed to discharge the weapon was one of the reasons the power source was built into the warden. The secondary purpose was that of medic. It had a small pod attached to its side that contained electrical repair tools, self-heating, lower-grade alloy, the same type that the warden was made of, and a diagnostic tool. The idea was that it could make spot repairs and keep them in the fight longer if they had a moment to take a step back. The armor on the ranged warden was slimmer and less thickly made. The idea was for it to be agile and keep itself on target with its weapon. All four wardens went heads up at the call. Both shield wardens trundled forward, their swords held out at their sides as their counterparts brought their railguns to bear. The armored cars screeched into the area, and the back hatch dropped down. Shit! Supers flooded out of the dropped gate. The cannons and the armored cars opened up, and the security wall was filled with enemy troops.
Andrea, send the others. On it.
Sorry, I'm trying to grab some water. Andrea pressed a hand to her ear and turned her head to one side. His people lit those armored cars up like they were range targets. The camera started to fritz as the armored cars continued to boom out, round after heavy caliber round. The supers took cover behind the armored cars and began to organize themselves quickly. His shield wardens got into place and neatly snipped the tips of their barrels from each other's armored cars. The barrels melted from where they were struck, the red-hot glow deforming them. The next round from one of them exploded in the damaged barrel, while the other one failed to fire at all. The gauze.
I think it's gauze.
The
A gauze round.
A gauze round tore through a super who tried to get a peek around the armored car, his head disappearing in a splatter of gore. Then everything went to shit as the others flooded in from the sides. Felix simply couldn't keep up with what was going on as the whole thing devolved into chaos. Hitting the comm button, he dialed into the shield wardens.
More coming down the security hall. Hold them there and keep them out. We need time to deal with the supers.
He'd got two acknowledgments in return as the shield wardens turned off to face the tunnel. Lightning crackled one way, then fire in the opposite direction. Explosions detonated throughout the room as the battle raged.
Telemedics.
I liked the way I said raged. I was pleased. As the battle raged, telemedics popped up here and there. Telemedics popped up here and there as they were able to, vanishing with a wounded comrade. Feeling the weight of his lack of combat experience again, Felix had to turn to Andrea for help.
How's it looking? I'm no strategist, Andrea. I'm just a pencil pusher.
Andrea glanced over at him, her mismatched eyes piercing through him. She gave him a warm smile, then looked back to the monitors.
We're winning, but not without losses. It shouldn't be much longer. It just looks like this because everyone is unleashing all their trump cards. Lily is scary as shit. I genuinely underestimated her.
Felix couldn't tell what she was talking about, but if he had to guess, it was the mess of lightning that was dominating one side of the room.
Yeah, she hides the monster well.
As to being a pencil pusher, that's okay, dear. You be you, you do you. You're not here to fight, you're here to help us fight. I enjoy the idea that you depend on us for your safety. It's not every day we get to rescue the damsel in distress. You'd look terrible in a dress, though.
Yes, I would. I'll leave that to you and Lily. You two have certainly set a new standard for attractive and professional.
You flatter me. Do it some more.
Felix frowned for a moment as he watched the mess that was the screen. Andrea changed whenever she flipped her myriad switch. Also to another person. Almost to another person. The Sorry, I'm getting a FaceTime call.
Okay.
Andrea changed whenever she flipped her myriad switch, almost to another person. The intelligence boost only made it more obvious.
Might as well ask, I guess. You're like a different person.
Andrea blinked twice, her eyes unfocusing. She gave herself a tiny shake of her head, her eyes flicking back to the monitors.
That's because I am. I'm me, of course. But what you call Andrea Prime isn't Andrea Prime. I died, and we absorbed ourselves through our oldest other. We are Andrea, yet we are... I am not.
Andrea's eyes scrunched up and she looked pained.
This isn't easy to explain, and I'm making a mess of it.
No, I get it. I get it. It also makes a bit more sense. We'll talk more after this. I'd like to ask some questions about your others and Death Others, too.
Good, because this thing is over, and we need to get down there to start picking up the dead and wounded.
Felix looked up to the screens and found she was right. The wardens were holding the hallway, while the center of the screen was a bloody mess.
Not quite. We still have to clear the lobby, and whatever they've laid in wait for us outside. Oh, sorry. No, that's right. Okay. This isn't over, I'm afraid.
Felix said morosely.
Scene.
Andrea, awesome play. But okay, sorry, I don't know why I said Andrea. I meant Annie. I just kind of like tried to play it off legit. She totally killed it. She has not narrated any books like herself yet. So like,
Well,
fucking did awesome. I'm sorry.
very nice.
So
I heard your narration of the tavern. What is it? The Wayward Tavern or Inn or something?
Wandering in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Wandering
her first
in.
time narrating anything, like narration wise. Like she's been doing voices for us, right? Doing
Yeah.
character voices, but that's a completely different animal, right?
It is a different animal. How do you find it? How do you find breaking into narration as opposed to character voices?
I like it.
That's the da 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 da.
Sing-songy.
Sing
Is it-
songy.
Which
Yes.
I like.
Is it like when the teacher calls on you to read out loud in class?
It's better. It's not as. It's better. It's more.
It's better than that.
This was kind of like that because I'm not the strongest reader, so to read something cold that I've never read before on a live stream is kind of like one of my worst nightmares. But
Thanks,
Really?
Jeff.
that being
Killed it.
said,
She did really good.
I'm glad that I did it because it wasn't nearly as frightening as I thought it would be.
You're a good sport.
Annie.
Yeah. Well, anything for Jeff. So it's nice to meet you guys. And,
Nice meeting you too.
You too.
Hello,
She's going back to reading.
everybody I can't see. I'm going to go make a salad niçoise for dinner.
A salamasu?
Salad
Niçoise.
Niçoise.
Miswa. I see. Well, it sounds pretentious, but I hope you
Yeah,
enjoy
it's
it.
pretty
it.
But you know, pretentious things are also delicious.
That's right.
Pretentious.
Pretentious. Delensionous.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Okay, so
That was great.
That was Super Sales. Okay, and that had nothing to do with the sausage machine. I'm sorry, guys. I did my best. Someone told me where to find it, and I guess I failed at finding it where they told me to. But yes, that's actually one of my favorite books to have narrated. So
That was the second one or the first one.
no, that was the first one. The second
That was
one
the first.
second one's being done, I think, by Nick Podell for Podium.
Oh.
Dun-dun.
I quit Podium. I mean, they're cool. No shade on them, but I just like more money than they were given.
There ain't no shade on us.
Right.
There ain't no shade on us.
Money
So
good.
last request feedback.
What have we got?
You can be Aiden, I guess.
Aiden. Who's that?
He is the morning assassin.
The morning, like morning as in he's sad because someone died, or morning as in it's
no.
early.
As
and
in
he's
it's
gotta
early
have
and
his
I'm
coffee.
going to stab somebody in the eye.
I feel like that is the worst kind of assassin you could possibly have. Like, out of all the assassins, like, I would much rather have the evening assassin. Like, my day's already shitty, and now I have to fend off an assassin. Like, nobody wakes up and like, let's do it.
Well, no, you've got a good point. I mean, like in the evening, you've done everything you need to for the day. You've got your groceries, you've done all the chores. So if someone were to come and assassinate you, you'd be fine. I mean, like all your stuff's taken care of. But if it's in the morning, then
I had shit to do. God damn it!
God, why'd you have to come and kill me?
And does he kill them before they get out of bed? That's the really big question, because the amount of effort it takes to wake up in the morning and tell yourself, I've got work to do, get the fuck out of bed. I've got work to do, get the fuck out of bed. And like when you summon that like monumental amount of effort and you're just like, okay, I'm going to get out of bed, and some fucker kills you after all that work. You had to sit like an hour prepping yourself to get out of the bed, and then some fucker takes advantage of it. It's like, on the other hand, in the evening, you're tired as fuck. You're like worn out. You're like, I've been working all day. Fine. Just shoot me. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, think how the assassin feels. I mean, he's got to get up earlier than the person he's killing. So, I mean, he's the one with the tough life. He's got to wake up early. He's got to clean his blades, prepare his poison.
He could have been the evening assassin.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't choose. Maybe this is society has put him in
For real though, the truth is he did not choose.
Was it just like an NPC title just popped out randomly?
No.
Hey, what's up? You're the morning assassin.
He was named by the main character of this book by
for being a douche.
Quantum Hughes. And
wait, are we doing feedback loop?
We are doing feedback loop.
Yeah.
Chapter
So
1
Justin,
of book 3. So Justin, you got the book, right?
I do have the book. I am going to okay, so this is the box set. Book 3. So where is that?
No.
I feel like the best one would be the Ida Slayer. Like he kills you right after you eat a big meal.
Jeff, you said you're doing the first scene in the feedback.
First scene
chapter
in book 3 of feedback.
Oh.
First scene of book 3. Do you have the position?
Well, I mean, if you have the table of contents out, you can just go to
clever.
Or book 3, chapter 1. Sorry, High Fantasy is book 3.
High Fantasy.
Guys, I'm also going to dip about now.
All right,
I got work to do. It was nice coming on though. Peace.
Cheers, Charles. Thanks for joining us.
See ya. So you are indeed doing book 1. You're doing feedback loop. Sorry.
No, we're doing High Fantasy, which is book 3.
Oh, okay.
Of feedback loop.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay, so you're gonna play. You can play everyone but Quantum.
Everyone but Quantum. Okay, and who is
Quantum's
everyone?
the narrator. So anyone else that you see, you play him.
Okay, Aiden.
Yep.
He's in a basketball jersey.
Yep.
I'm not going to make any assumptions about his race, though.
Okay, good, because that would be so racist.
For those that don't know, this is by Harmon Big Chalupa Cooper.
Big Chalupa Cooper.
That's great. And this is probably the most racist SBTL I've ever done, by the way. Just so you all know.
We've talked about race. We've joked about race. We haven't singled a particular race out and condemned any races. I think that's racist.
I think that is racist, but this comes closest to that than any other.
Oh.
I'm not saying that this stream in particular is racist. I'm saying that all the rest of our streams have not been racist at all.
Like, I'm trying to big up the rest of the show by saying this is really the most racist that we ever get.
True. Yeah. And whether we cross that line, I don't know. Let's let you decide. You at home, if you thought this show was racist, check here.
Check
didn't think it was
right
racist,
on your screen.
check,
Use a permanent marker on your computer screen.
If you think it was racist, click the like button. If you didn't think it was racist, click the like button. And then subscribe.
Yeah, vote. That's a good way to do it.
All right. So I'm everybody but the narrator and
Quantum. Chapter 1. Aiden is in a basketball jersey with the initials MA across his back. In his left hand is his Wall Macy's net shopping bag full of cactus, and across his chest are 10 horseshoes held to his body by a leather belt. A fly swatter is tucked into the front of his basketball shorts alongside a pair of rusty gardening shears.
Do you see Tony?
He asks me, roller skating in a circle. He wears a pair of vintage roller skates with leather uppers and hardened toes. Cold BBs of rain soak our clothes, and pockets of lightning add shadow to our faces. On my knees, I again glance down through the rooftop skylight at the card game below. My Reaper skull, item 551, allows me to see the grid lines that make up the loop. I can also see NPCs, although their names aren't displayed. What's he look like again?
Fat, lots of hair, big sunglasses, little mustache.
Tony Clifton was a new crime boss who had partnered up with Chinatown's Scarface Charlie. Pushing riotous through greasy food joints and massage parlors was his M.O. Concreting people's feet was his favorite pastime. He wasn't as bad as Charlie, not the type to use a head crusher on a first date, but if there's anything I've learned in the loop, it is this. The good get bad, and the bad get worse. Here comes the Godfather now.
How many, Quantum?
8, including the big cheese. My ocular feed shows a man with a distended belly entering the room. His greased-up cowlick and the outline of his sunglasses confirms it. This is our man. My skull mask dematerializes as it returns to my inventory list. I place my boxing glove on my hand, item 32, and twist the handle on my antique selfie stick, item 99. I've been whipped to death by a selfie stick before. It hurts like the dickens. Item 353, my football pads, add some bulk to my frame, as does my vintage Bengals football helmet, item 271. Just in case I need to slice and dice, item 40, my serrated elephant tusk hangs from a loop on my belt. That reminds me. My inventory list comes up and I scroll to item 273. Cleats with metal spikes. They appear on my feet, lace themselves up. Remember, I tell Aiden, no conventional weapons. If you die, do not respawn. That's the only rule.
Got it,
he says with a wolfish grin. Our non-conventional weapons rule means that we can't blow through the ceiling as we normally would. Luckily, Aiden has already worked his way around this self-imposed restriction.
Just leap over holding on to this,
he tells me as he fastens the rope to a rooftop air conditioner unit.
Activate your advanced abilities and rocket through the window. I'll hit the other side at the same time. Nothing to it.
Don't kill Tony, I remind him.
Same to you.
I jam my selfie stick in my belt, keeping my boxing glove on my right hand. I'm on the edge of the rooftop seconds later, holding the rope with one hand and waiting for Aiden's signal. The cold rain picks up and runs into my eyes. Come on, Dolly, lighten up, will ya? I ask the sky. The rain stops completely, but the clouds stay dark. Thanks, doll. Aiden's finger comes up and he twists it in the air like a mini lasso. Pushing off the ledge, I shoot out over the rooftop and I activate my advanced abilities bar, giving me both the juice and the ability to violate the Einsteinian space-time continuum. Cleats plus glass equals Shattersville. I land in the room and roll out, brandishing my selfie stick. One of the button men watching the card game goes for his gat, but I reenact the caning of Senator Charles Sumner and he drops like 200 pounds of bad habit and a cheap suit. I give his face the cube steak treatment as I dance a flamenco a la Cleats with my selfie stick clenched between my teeth. Olay! A ferret-faced, greasy little weasel of a man is somewhat faster than his card-playing buddies, and even in slow-mo gets his .45 out and pointed right at my heart, just as Aiden frisbees a horseshoe into the back of his head. Holy horseshoe headache, Batman! Mr. Mustilidae's cigarette, chewing gum, and toothpick fly out of his mouth as he hits the table and scatters the chips, but he maintains a death grip on his cards, and no wonder. He's holding a royal flush. I'm sorry to see a good hand wasted like that, but I've got more important things to deal with at the moment. I give the next Goomba a little Joe Frazier and think about throwing in a little Tyson Holyfield 2 action when I'm whacked from behind with a crowbar. Stars, planets, and Tweety birds circle my head. My ears ring, my nose runs, and I release a cloud of flatus as the ghost of Neil deGrasse Tyson laughs and points. My life bar drops by 25%, and I can't make my hands or feet obey my commands as I reel forward from the blow. Aiden to the rescue with a pair of flying horseshoes, which catch the crowbar swinging no goodnick right in the cake hole and lodge there like a pair of politically incorrect cartoon Ubangi lip plates. He keels over backwards, and I shake off the effects of his rolled steel sleeve. He keels over backwards, and I shake off the effects of his rolled steel love tap. I drop my AA bar for a moment to sink a hard right into the beezer of the chubby-cheeked Shylock, just getting a grip on his gun. He squeezes the trigger in response and fires the round out the side of his jacket and into Tony Clifton's foot, who screams like the lunch whistle at the Big Sissy Manufacturing Company. My finger comes up, and a pot of lawsuit temperature McStarbucks Ultra Cap Espresso item. I fucking love you, Harmon.
Got this? Oh, man.
My finger comes up, and a pot of lawsuit temperature McStarbucks Ultra Cap Espresso, item 9, materializes in my other hand. A flick of my wrist and the overpriced hipster tippled parboils another. This is so hard. This is so hard. A flick of my wrist and the overpriced hipster tippled parboils another black-suited Palooka's wedding tackle. Like a wheeled Tanya Harding Galooly, Aiden launches into a triple axle and snaps his shopping bag of cactus straight into the man's already uncomfortable nether region. The brawny bruiser falls to his knees, face plants, and twitches spasmodically. Advanced abilities redux. I charge forward and put my football helmeted head right in the breadbasket of the zoot-suited trigger man nearest the door. He folds in the middle, and his spine snaps like a breadstick as I knock him right out of his pointy-toed sharkskin shoes and neat little pork pie hat. I can almost see the ref throw the yellow flag like they used to when football still had rules. Bullets break the sound barrier above me. I drop my selfie stick and get a firm grip on my serrated elephant tusk. I'm just about to engage in some antique ivory sliceage and diceage when somebody's copper-jacketed hate mail connects with my shoulder, spins me around, and knocks my life bar down another 10%. I turn to see Aiden use his garden shears like a gladius on the trigger man who just ruined a perfectly good pair of vintage football shoulder pads. I take this moment to do a little sawing on the man's throat beneath me. Saw, saw, saw goes the saw, and bleed, bleed, bleed goes the throat, and I'm done before the nursery rhyme can finish. All right. Do you know who Tony Clifton is? Like the real Tony Clifton?
The name. I know the name. I definitely know the name. But
have you seen any of? Well,
yes.
First of all, have you seen the movie Man on the Moon?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, So the guy. Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
All right. I think I remember that. All right.
Yeah.
Tony Clifton. All right. You got me.
Tony Clifton has his hands in the air now. Aiden is behind him, the tip of his fly swatter pressed into the Godfather's ear. It's a shiv? I ask. The mobster beneath me coughs, causing the gaping wound on his neck to bleed out even more.
Yeah?
Aiden says.
I thought you knew.
A shiv is a conventional weapon.
Is it? You know, the serrated elephant tusk could also be considered a conventional weapon.
A caddish cooing near one of the smashed windows coughs. The man tries to stand, tumbles forward in a slump as his digital ghost exits his body. Tony Clifton barks.
You two ain't getting away with this. This is Scarface Charlie's territory. I know people.
Looks like everyone you know is either dead or dying, I say as I approach the top banana. Tony tries to move. Aiden responds by pressing the sharpened end of the fly swatter deeper into the head honcho's ear hole.
What's the big idea, Mac? You're trying to poke my brain out or something?
I use my elephant tusk to lift his chin so that Tony's looking right at me with his big brown eyes. I'm only going to ask you this once. Where's Dirty Dave?
That slimeball? You come here for scum like that? Tell him what he wants to know.
Aiden says.
Otherwise, you'll be taking a trip to the... What's the word for an ear doctor? An otolaryngologist? What is it? Otolaryngologist?
Otolaryngologist.
An otolaryngologist,
Tony says matter-of-factly.
I see mine regularly. You should too. I'll look into it.
That's great, I tell both of them. But we ain't here for a checkup. Where's Dirty Dave?
That caproni owes me money.
He growls. A vein appears on the side of his head. How much does he owe you?
More credit than you got.
Aiden gets my drift and steps back, allowing me to sink a fist into the boss man's schnozzle. Dirty Dave, I say as blood trickles out of his nose. Tell us where he is or you'll... What do you mafia types say? Sleep with the fishes? I'll give you a new pair of concrete Diz Nikes and toss you off the pier. Tell us where he is and I won't kill you. How's that sound? He curls his lips, weighs his options. There's some real hungry fish at the pier, I tell him. Piranhas, too. You got options here, Tony.
I'm the one that put those piranhas there,
he admits.
And you're right. They are hungry. I don't know why you're so interested in that, Babbo.
We have our reasons, I tell him.
Dirty Dave is here in Chinatown, practically under your noses.
No shit, Sherlock. But where in Chinatown? Aiden gives Gaudy Light a quick rabbit punch with his free hand.
What the hell was that for? Hurry up. Relax all... Oh, that wasn't it.
No,
Relax already,
Tony says.
I'm talking, ain't I?
Not fast enough, I tell the bloody kingpin.
Chinese grocery. Up the street.
You got him in the freezer?
Yeah,
he tells me.
Hanging from a meat hook like the carcass that he is.
Good. Thanks, Tony, I say. Do what you gotta do, Aiden.
Can I borrow the elephant tusk?
He asks. Not a problem. I drop the tusk on the table and turn to the door.
You said you wouldn't kill me!
Tony shouts, spittle spraying out of his mouth. I won't, I say over my shoulder. He will. Nothing like a digital smoke to celebrate a successful endeavor. We came, we saw, we conquered, and we did it without the aid of conventional weaponry. What can I say? I'm not one to brag, but Morning Assassin and I are good. Real good. The door pops open and Aiden steps out sporting the Passion of the Christ look. That's you.
It was a bleeder.
Care for a drag? I say as I ash my cigar, item 30, on the floor.
The last time I tried one of your death sticks, I nearly coughed up a lung.
This is much more refined than your typical square. It's a Cuban of the best quality, the type of cigar Castro would have starved peasants for. Besides, you don't have lungs, I remind him. We laugh together, long and hard. Well then, I say as I press the end of my cigar into my palm. Sure, it affects my life bar a little, but it'll replenish itself. Shall we see about Dirty Dave? Aiden takes the lead. As he walks, his bloodied basketball getup disappears and his black clothes return, in much the same way a mirage blurs into focus. My Bengals helmet dematerializes, but I keep my pads on, as they are comfortable, and I can't be bothered to change clothing. We walk down a flight of stairs, and a single flickering light illuminates the small stairwell. I think of my problems in the real world. My body is currently in Francis Euphoria's hospital room, where it has been for the last... No sense in checking, because I don't want to know. I'd rather just stay here in the loop, the vice-ridden flesh pot where there are no consequences to my actions, No Federal Bureau of Investigation and Intelligence gathering trying to pin something on me. Not gonna lie, I'm at home in a place where drugstore cowboys with chips on their shoulders call all the shots, where ritzy skirts turn tricks in back alleys for bumps of riotous, where clip joints and can houses outnumber petting pantries 10-1, where the odds are always against you. The answer to the sprawl, a place of techno filth and digi-violence. Almost home.
You know, Dolly lives around here.
Aiden says as we exit the building. In Chinatown? I ask. One glance up the street and I see red paper lanterns and banners with Asian characters crossing from one side to the other. Well, I don't know what I thought, but her living situation never crossed my mind.
Typical.
Aiden's eyes flash orange and then return to their normal color. What? We never talked about it.
She lives up there, in the apartment above the sushi joint.
He points to a small room on the 3rd story of a building about 50 paces away. The red curtains are drawn, lit from behind. I should stop by sometime.
You should,
Aiden says. A rickshaw driver pedals by, nearly knocking me out of my pads. Watch it, buddy, I say.
The rickshaw drivers in Chinatown follow their own rules.
Aiden explains as he steps around a man selling fried fish on a stick. One click of my inventory list later and my BFG 9000, item 100, is in my hands. A huge green ball of plasma explodes out of the weapon, vaporizing the rickshaw. Aiden laughs.
Man, that is some weapon. Dirty Dave?
Yep. Big, right?
Whew, big is an understatement.
Aiden says, taking a step closer to me.
The dual proton high-intensity pulsar is one of a kind. The hard shell antimatter containment box can take quite a bit of heat, and the 2 handles on top, one Kevlar and one titanium, are shock resistant and allow for the weapon to be held in a variety of ways. Care if I take a shot?
By all means. As soon as Aiden takes the BFG, he aims it at the man selling fried fish. Oh, yes! We have to get racist here! Go!
Oh boy, here it comes. You want me to be racist?
Yes!
Okay, here we go. What a big idea!
The man shouts.
You don't shoot me. You want fish. You eat fish. Free, please.
That's still Aiden.
Oh, that's still Aiden?
Yeah.
An L22 response trigger on a lightweight titanium alloy spring grip makes for maneuverability and quick firing.
Aiden swivels right and up, shoots a green ball of plasma at a taxi above us. The taxi comes crashing down, taking out the corner of a tchotchke shop. You know, they should do this more often, I say.
What? Come to Chinatown and shoot at things?
Bingo.
Okay.
That's good.
There's like one more page. Let's do one more page.
Okay,
Where's the
all right.
freezer? I ask a woman behind the counter at the Chinese supermarket. She's a classy chassis, Asian, with the right mix of lean and fierce. The green icon over her head indicates she's an NPC.
No freezer.
She tells me.
Buy something or leave.
Oh my god, I love it.
Aiden appears behind her and presses my BFG into her back. Gotta love those assassin abilities, I say, taking a few steps closer to the checkout counter. Care to tell us again about the freezer you don't have? The woman kicks her leg back, right into Aiden's digital family jewels. She flips over his body before he can fire a shot. Her feet hit the ground and she pushes off, flipping forward again and landing next to Aiden and using her momentum to strip him of his weapon. The last thing I see is a giant green flash.
All right, that's it, guys. Thank you so much, Justin.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Dave, for coming and hanging out with us. Any comments
pleasure.
about that last section? Because I don't know. In my
That was
opinion,
hilarious.
that first chapter of this book was one of my favorite things to narrate ever. Like just the
Yeah.
way the word craft is amazing.
Well, it stays very much like it's like a New Yorker talking about his day at a
Yeah.
bar, you know, like it keeps that in the narration. It doesn't get too bogged down in like what's actually happening in the scene, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's got like a million ways to say something in like a New York like like slang, like I got she like a Tonya Hottie Galushi, like what the heck is that? I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
Great.
the big chalupa definitely has a way with words.
He does.
Oh,
He
yeah.
definitely does. That's why I love working for him. So, everybody, don't forget soundbooththeater.com is a thing now. So if you need to find our audiobooks, they're all, I think most of them are on display in there. You can go in there and you can find them. They're like organized by author or by title or by eventually it'll be by narrator. Since this year I'm having Justin and Lori and Annie doing more books. We're putting their names on a lot of stuff and their voices, obviously, not just the names. I'm not gonna give you guys credit for shit you didn't do.
What? Why
Yeah,
not?
not
I
gonna
thought
do
that
it.
was part of the
Just
deal.
not gonna do it. It's not gonna do it. Sorry.
We're gonna have to talk after the stream.
Maybe. All right.
You're in
But
trouble.
anyway, thanks you guys for coming out. Thanks to everyone who hung out with us and watched.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, you know,
If
things
I could just say, lots of great things coming up. Head over to the Facebook group. If you're not a member of Sound Booth Theater Facebook group, join up. That's where we pretty much decide what we're going to be reading on the Facebook group, right?
Yep, absolutely. Speaking of that, Justin is actually going to be starting his own Sound Booth Theater Live
So,
section.
spin-off. It's like a spin-off.
Yeah, it's like a spin-off,
So,
but it's
oh,
going to
what's
be
Justin
called the
doing
same
now?
thing. And we're gonna have a different poll for him and me. So his poll, he's gonna fill up his own poll with certain people, and
Oh
then
man,
my poll is gonna get filled up, right?
I gotta say that
And,
that seems kind of racist.
Oh, yeah,
It seems racist.
it's a little bit.
If we have if we're both up on different polls,
Yeah, I
what
mean,
you're saying is
why separate but equal, dude? Come on, I mean,
separate but equal. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. There's
Yeah.
racism floating around in
All
there
right.
somewhere.
Okay, all right, you got me. So yeah, he's
Sorry.
starting his own, and it won't be as lit RPG themed, more like a sci-fi theme going on with him. He's going to be bothering as many sci-fi authors as possible, spamming them, like showing up at restaurants where they are, dressed a little bit inappropriately, and
Just gotta draw the eyes.
yeah, you gotta do
Don't
what you
need
gotta
pants for
do
that.
to get more people to this Facebook group, right?
Mhm.
But that's the goal, to get more people to the Facebook group and more people signing up on soundbooththeater.com to get a mailing list so that we can get news to you, or so that you can get on the street crew. Okay, we want if you guys really like what we're doing, we want you guys to help us market, and if you do, then we're gonna give you cool stuff.
Cool
Like
stuff.
you're gonna be able to listen to audiobooks before they come out on Audible. You're gonna be able to get. I think coffee mugs might be like the first thing that we do.
Oh,
Yeah.
like the
and
DB.
we're gonna talk to our authors and see how many of them are willing to put their IP images on the coffee mugs or whatever other
Flasks.
stuff that we do. Flasks.
Flasks.
That's way cool. That's way cooler than coffee mugs. Why didn't I think of that?
You know what I feel should be the new thing is sitting next to a fireplace with a flask, some whiskey, and you're listening to your audiobook. You've just got your audiobook on. You've got your Sound Booth Theater, book playing while you're being classy AF.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be like the replacement for television someday.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because like in a chair by a fire is what you traditionally think of when people are listening to their radio shows from back in like the 40s or whatever, when TV didn't
Exactly.
exist.
Kids
We're
gathered
trying to bring that
around.
back.
Yeah,
for
gotta
sure.
bring that back. Oh, all right. Well,
So,
you guys do that. If you do end up sitting by the fireplace and listening to a Sound Booth Theater audiobook, we want to see it. Post it on the Facebook group. Prove it.
Yes.
So I don't have a fireplace.
I don't.
Yeah.
I do, but it's gas, so it's
Not as cool.
Not as cool. I mean, like
No.
there's
You
probably
could just
not
put
even
wood in it.
enough. I could,
got-
but I think the flue is just too narrow. I think that would just set my house on fire if I
Probably would, but would it be worth it?
maybe if I'm listening to a good sound booth theater audiobook, it would be.
I got a little tabletop grill out on my balcony. Does that count if I go sit next to that and listen?
Totally.
Take a
Yes, it counts. It's a different kind of class.
Redneck.
All right, so
Yeah.
Sorry, that was racist. I apologize again.
So guys, keep an eye out. Subscribe to the channel. Share. Do whatever you can.
And he's back.
And he's back.
And
Bye-bye.
yeah, visit the website once in a while, and we will see you. I want to do another Sound Booth Theater live on Sunday, maybe, and then Charles Dean tomorrow.
I see you.
Another drinking with
Yeah.
Charles.
I see you.
Where is that going? Where? How dare you? Sexual harassment. So tomorrow night, drinking with Charles, we will have Luke Shimolenko with us. So keep an eye out on the Facebook group. We'll put the link up. And that's it.
Go eat your salad.
I will go eat my pretentious ass salad now.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, guys.